Community volunteer accused of withholding winter coat donation, faces backlash from charity group, contemplating future involvement. I'm part of a local donation group, so every now and then, I get asked to help with clothes donations. Someone passes away or downsizes, and I will help wash, fold, sort, and deliver the clothes to various free stores. Sometimes, if we are notified of someone in the community in need, we will deliver essentials like winter or kids' clothing to their house. We're just a group within the community. There is no religious, political, or ulterior motive. We just spread extra through the community as needed as discreetly as possible to help out. This particular situation just hurts my head, and I'm still trying to figure out how it escalated the way it did. So a few days ago there was a fire in our community which left 3 families displaced. We collected what we could in the sizes they needed, and off we went. We don't ask for anything in return other than knowing the families are a little better off. We always apologize and explain that while they may not be the styles they're accustomed to, as donated clothing, but at least it is clean and warm. If they had specific needs, to let a member of the group know and we would do what we can. A lot of our collected items belong to other families whose children outgrew the items. It's anonymous and it's a way for our more comfortable community members to help out others within the community with this. It's one thing I love about my community, people don't hesitate to help where needed. I was given an address and head out as usual. Pull in, get the bags and coats to the door and knock. After that, I'm not sure what to think. It started off as it usually does. There was a mother and 3 children, so I explained that there are 3 bags of clothing in the sizes submitted, and a box of age-appropriate toys just like with the other families. I thought I heard wrong when she said she preferred my coat and just said what? She called me rude and told me again, this stuff is okay, but I want the coat you're wearing. When I told her, no, I'm sorry, but I just bought this coat, she got angry and accused me of picking through donation bags for the good stuff. I've never run into this issue before. None of the group members are well off. In fact, that's why we do what we do. Because life is hard here and we believe in sharing what we have as a community. We collect good quality items from those with extra and distribute it freely to those that need it or have specific needs. Sometimes we all take items from our own closets if they're needed more elsewhere. Last year we raised funds to help purchase a wheelchair-accessible vehicle for a family. The year before it was a young family whose matriarch was diagnosed with terminal cancer. This year's cause is to build 4 tiny homes for the homeless in our community to use as needed. Our goal is to provide stability so they can successfully reintegrate during and after addiction rehabilitation. We all do what we can to try to help, basically. It's a hard world to feel alone in. Now, my coat is expensive, $250, but I've also saved gift cards for 2 years and anxiously watched for post-season sales before finally taking the plunge and got it for 75% off. Maybe I messed up by wearing it on this errand? I don't know. After I said no, this is my coat a second time, she started yelling at me. I just left the bags on the doorstep and drove away. Today I wake up to a slew of texts from the group asking me to explain why I refused to give the mother any winter coats, and why I left everything at the end of the driveway. Allegedly in a ditch? They aren't questioning. Most are downright accusatory. Some are just borderline mean. It's the kind of day where I feel like giving up on this making the world a better place thing. I've been where these families are. And people help me just like this. I know what it feels like to rely on others. So I do try to be compassionate and understanding without being condescending or pitying. I don't often talk about what I do because nobody needs to know what came from where, or who is getting what. It's just paying it forward. I do this because it's been done for me, and it's the right thing to do. It's that simple. But after today, I don't even want to reply to anyone. It's not just that woman. It's the texts that are getting kinda nasty at this point. It's these people obviously talking about me behind my back. It's how quick they were to assume I must have done this. I'm not sure if I want to do this anymore after all this. I've been part of this for 5 years and have never had a complaint before. I feel betrayed by people I thought were my friends. It just all feels gross, dramatic and depressing now, and that's now how this is supposed to feel. I could understand if this was, like, a fancy fur coat or something. This is literally just a rather plain looking long coat that happens to be super warm. I don't get it. It's only been an official group with a board for about 4 months. But we have been doing this for 5 years now as a project of mine and the current board president that gathered considerable traction and volunteer/funding as time went on. They so need policies in place. If only to protect the clients that use the service. But as a new board we are all just learning the official ropes and red tape as we go. The one person I thought I could count on is currently the one insisting this happened as the client describes. I'm just so confused. We did need a board in this case as we are partially federally funded, the community pantry is. Anyways. It's a requirement. Unfortunately. I've had 1 out of 5 members of the charity group / text asking if I'm okay, and what happened. The rest seem to believe that I did this. I don't know how to move on from this. Because the truth will come out eventually in a community this small. It always does. The question now is, do I want to be involved with people like this? I don't think I can trust them after this. Maybe take a breather from the group. The way they treated you is horrible. The issue is I can't avoid them either. I'm going to have to answer eventually, either via text or in person. The longer I wait, the worse it will be. I know that. But I just don't want to deal with this either. Small community. The truth will come out eventually. But it's now obvious that I can't trust these people. No matter what's said after this, the damage has been done. Update 1 as suggested. I did text them as a group in bullet form stating facts only. Edit, sorry for formatting. Copied from text. 1. Items were carried to front door as per usual. 2. Client requested my personal attire. 3. Client accused me of theft from donation bags. 4. Client verbally abused me. 5. I left the following on client's doorstep: 12 bag of women's clothing sizes ML, 1 plus 12 bag children's clothing sizes 3 to 8, 1 X bag of assorted linens and towels, 1 X box of assorted children's toys and books. I am trying very hard to understand the context of some of the messages I've received about this, and am truly confused as to why anyone would think I would purposefully degrade a client. You all know my history and reasons I participate. As I feel I no longer have a place of trust within our group, I am formally resigning from my roles within the committee, and the group. I will, with your blessing, remain on the helping tree as a contact. So far the replies are very interesting. They range from apologetic to accusatory to narcissistic. The most interesting one so far, I think, was not intended for me and insinuated that this was for the best. I can't believe how naive I've been. There's an emergency meeting being scheduled for next week, as apparently you're not just allowed to resign midterm from a board like this without a valid reason. Which I think I have. The benefit of this is, my accuser also has to give an official statement in the meeting minutes because I've resigned. Which I'm allowed to attend and comment on. Which adds validity to my reasons for resigning. Would it be petty if I wore my coat again, or should I choose something older? Genuinely asking. I don't want to make things worse. I just want out to do my own thing. Rumors are already starting and seem to be in my favor. Small towns are terrific/terrible for that. And I've just been texted asking me to withdraw my resignation for fear this may cause an irreparable rift in our charitable group. I have 8 months left to my current term as secretary. A position that requires the trust of the board members to record accurate notes. Which I no longer feel I have. I don't want my character unfairly questioned again after I've worked so damn hard to build it up. My resignation was intended to prevent drama and divide. It is doing the opposite. What would you do? I feel like I'm damned if I do, and damned if I don't. Not allowed to resign? What are they going to do, ground you? With a formal board, there are steps to take to remove a member of the core board, vice president, secretary, treasurer, committee heads. Or so I'm being told. This may be a stall tactic. I'm going over the current bylaws and policies, but it's small font and a hard read. I'm surprised/touched by how many clients are defending me, but I think this is what is causing a lot of drama and distrust both within the organization and with those that use it. Which is exactly what I was trying to avoid by quietly resigning. It just sucks, for lack of a better word. I feel like the religious have it wrong. It's not judge not lest ye be judged. It's just be judged these days. Going forward, it needs to be mandatory that there be 2 delivery people on every delivery. No excuses. Oh my. My dash cam. I'm going to check it. Thank you. Thank you so much. No audio. No clear aha moment. But it does show enough. It shows me pulling in, and that there's nothing on the porch. It shows the car moving slightly as I take the bags out, and it does show a bag being deposited on the porch as well as at least 2 coats/snowsuits. As I back out you can almost see the whole porch. You do see her outside, but the definition isn't good enough to see her face or what she's doing. I'm also still not sure what proof if any has been submitted by my accusers. Who, I'm told, has been dropped from the Helping Tree Community Pantry Registry. I'm actually starting to get very angry. That woman messed up. But she has 3 kids under her care that deserve to eat and be clothed. This is going way too far. Update 2 ungrateful client is board president's former sister-in-law. And yes, they're still friendly. Small towns. I can't wait for next week. I knew it. This whole fiasco smelled strongly of being completely orchestrated. Typical small town intrigue and power struggle when there's only one that's struggling for the power. President wants you kicked out because you're a co-founder and she wants to take all the accolades and applause from the community. Go get your reputation back, sweet lady. You are needed and necessary to the community. If you weren't, you wouldn't have been doing this charitable work for 5 years. Fight. I'm trying to figure out how to walk away, but still acknowledge what's going on without hurting the board. They do good work that's needed. I can't torpedo that no matter how I feel. And that's the problem. I think I'm going to ask for an official board inquest, which is even my rights according to our bylaws, before I go. I can't see someone doing this over reputation or clout. I certainly hope not, anyways. But if the inquest finds this was planned, who TF does this? I would have grounds to have the board president removed. It's not pettiness, I don't want to see this done to someone else. But you're right. So, mething stinks here and it gets worse by the day. I'm going to look into, comment ends here /, I'm going to submit a statement to the board, with footage from my dash cam that shows at least one bag clearly on the porch. Unfortunately, I forgot to itemize the coat / 3 snowsuits and boots dropped off in my group text, so I do have to justify that one somehow. I also just heard they dropped off another 3 bags to the woman, including winter gear. I think it's an attempt at damage control, but I also think they're moving in the wrong direction, given what I'm hearing from many. If she tries to sell the excess, like many seem to think she will, this will all come to a head so much faster. Either way, I'm ironically the least invested in this around here at this point. Small town drama, == I admit, looking back, it is odd that I was given this client when others were closer. I had thought it may be because of scheduling conflicts, but I'm finding that's not the case either. Interestingly, there are rumors going around that this was staged. I'm trying not to pay attention to rumors without proof, but I'm starting to wonder. I hate this with a passion. It all seems so damn stupid. I'm still so confused. The meeting has been scheduled for Wednesday night, 2 days' time. I haven't decided if I'm going yet. I don't want this drama to derail what has been a good thing so far. I may just submit my statement and resignation and leave it at that. Popular opinion is on my side, so why make it worse? == I agree with this so much. People have had to do that here in my town too. We have small groups that helps out the community that aren't in any organization or charitable groups, just themselves giving back. We had specific residents in town that were running their mouth and taking donations and selling them for money. Eventually these residents were burning through different community groups and established organizations, and they would complain about each one, saying they weren't helping and deliberately causing trouble. These groups did post on Facebook telling their sides of the situation, just like you suggested. Well, those residents kept doing this and blaming people for not helping, blah blah blah. It didn't take long for the rest of the town to realize that these specific residents were pulling these scams, and they were booted out of all the community groups in town. Sometimes you do have to stand up and tell your side to the community. Eventually the truth will come out. You are brilliant. After reading this, I started thinking about other groups that this woman may have been a part of at her previous location. Well. I now have 4 witnesses to past behavior willing to come with me Wednesday from 3 groups that have been similarly burned by this woman. The question is, do I want to take it that far? I do and I don't. I feel this has taken up far more valuable time, and it's taking away from the original purpose of the group. I'm also being asked to submit my name for board president by the majority of the board for the upcoming term. So I'm being supported, now. I still don't trust any of them to have my back should anything happen. And if I replace the prey, shit will happen. == Comment was deleted, but basically said, wear your coat to the meeting, and bring the receipt for it. / I don't think I need to bring the receipt. They are all aware of when I got my coat, and what I paid for it. I'm being told there are 2 board members who seem to think I'm blowing this out of proportion, prey and treasurer, and should just take the reprimand maturely. If I go in Wednesday, I'm just going to tell them simply that I feel I no longer have the trust required for my appointed position, and am respectfully resigning to prevent further drama. Pass in my official resignation and walk away. I've also discovered the emergency meeting is to consider 3 resignations, not just mine. == Op, defend yourself. There's something fishy about this. No. I won't be petty and call CPS. Those kids don't deserve to be dragged into this, too. == Maybe you should start your own group with people you can trust? I've actually been thinking of a fringe group for more rural locations that don't fall within community boundaries. This may just be divine intervention in disguise. == Update 3. My apologies, this will be long. As I parked, there were a couple that stopped to say hi, but the majority of the board did not acknowledge me. My accuser though. She had a great laugh at my expense, and literally taunted me in front of the others on the way in. Ooh, here for more, are you? Guess you didn't get enough of me yet, and blows me a kiss. She showed up with the president. I feel that's relevant. Especially seeming as she ran home. The meeting started at 6 p.m. I was not allowed to sit at the table until the issue was brought up. I sat, alone, for over 45 minutes. Finally someone peeked outside at 6:53, to see if I was still there, and called me in. My accuser wasn't there. I sat down and the first thing said to me was, well, we may have made a mistake, followed by this big flowery apology that stank of bullshit and was gaslit better than a propane stove. You know that when a complaint comes in, we have to investigate it. At that point I just exploded. I didn't even talk to my kids like that when they were babies. It was the kind of tone you have when talking to the very simplest of minds. I told them there's a massive difference between investigating and outright accusing, and that I didn't appreciate how their ineptitude at leading a board nearly derailed the whole organization and just put a really bad light on what we were doing. She says, by unanimous decision, we've decided not to accept your resignation. Welcome back. I've likely been this confused before, but I don't remember when. I was expecting this to be much harder. I had a factual speech ready and everything. Walk Ed in, and it was just we whoopsied. Oh well, teehee, well that's unfortunate that you refuse to accept it, because it's given and I'm not rescinding it. I'm out. And it seems you all know exactly why. For those who have reached out to me, I'll consider your offer of leading this board, but at this time, I'm not comfortable with the lack of trust and transparency I'm seeing. And left. My phone has been blowing up all night. I meant to update immediately, but it just kept ringing and tinging. I don't even know how so many found out. Good old gossip is my guess, but I had over 30 calls and just as many texts/social media messages. So, what sprint while I was waiting outside? My accuser decided to get on something pre-meeting. Literally acted like a wild animal at one point. I'm told it was so bad that the police and child protection services were called by 4 of 5 ladies present, and when told they were called, my accuser took off running home. That's a whole nother story. The kids are now safe, I'm told. There's that. The versions I'm hearing are surprisingly similar, for once. So I'm going to tell you the events as I was told. Prey husband is apparently an addict. Who gets his stash from the sis-in-law/accuser. I'm not clear on the details, but I'm told blackmail was involved. Common word says she threatened to spill the beans on hubby. You know how it goes. Get hurt, get prescription, get hooked, get cheaper street drugs because they're cheaper and no doctor regulates them/questions your dose. There's a rumor he is also sleeping with sustained in-law, but this is not confirmed. But has been going around for the better part of a year now. Maybe I should start listening to more rumors because I had no idea. Accuser started off normal, if twitchy. She went to the washroom and shit allegedly went sideways not long after she came out. At one point she was laying on the floor, slithering and grunting like an animal. I wish I could have seen it, but kinda glad I didn't. When accuser left, it swayed the remaining 2 votes my way. There was a discussion on how to handle me where the prey just said she'll follow the board on the vote after they shot down her suggestion that the complaint still be addressed. The way she glared at me when I came in, yes, wearing my coat, tells me she was not happy about it either. The vote was unanimous to keep me. I did not wish to stay after all that. Tomorrow they have an open board meeting to tell people what happened, as transparency is ironically a promise we made to the community so they know exactly who and what they're supporting. I won't be there. But a lot of angry and confused people will be. I'm glad I'll be missing it, but I have a feeling I'll hear all about it. I'm told there will be some calling for prey resignation. We shall see, I guess. I started this feeling lower than low. Tonight I'm surrounded by positivity and I feel good about this decision. Is this karma? It feels like karma. Steps are already being taken to form what we will call the Fringe Farm. We will collect fresh farm goods donated by local farmers and deliver to homes that need a little extra, focusing on those that live between communities and people new to rural life. Eventually I hope to offer clothing and household goods, but I need to find a source outside the community so I'm not taking from the original group. I also have a preliminary board. Comprised of 3 of 5 members of the original board. I've told them they have to finish their term at the group, because they do damn good work, and it's not fair to those that need them to just walk away hypocritical. ZB. But I refuse to torpedo the group. 2 still submitted resignations because they're just floored by that last meeting. Theirs was depending upon mine, so their exit meetings are being scheduled for next week. Because they no longer have a secretary to record minutes, I'm being asked to. I'm also being asked to submit my name for prey, should the current one agree to resign. I haven't decided if I will. I feel that will come across as petty, and TBH it's no longer my business. Thank you for the encouragement. I'm not sure if I would have had the courage to attend if not for the overwhelming kindness and support shown here. By strangers. Shakes head /. You have no idea how much this meant to me when I needed it. Update 4: the open meeting was a shit show, I'm told. Prey was called to resign. Refused. So the board resigned. The group is now being led by the prey and that's it. So it's essentially dead. You need minimum 3 board members to continue as a registered charity/nonprofit. Nobody, out of approx 50 ppl, raised a hand when asked if they wanted to join. The Fringe Farm, by comparison, has more volunteers than we can organize. This is the group started after you lovely folks helped me decide staying wasn't worth the trouble. I have mixed feelings over this. 1. It's nice to feel validated. The other. I really don't like how this went down for too many reasons to count. Our first task as a new org? Writing an ironclad policy everyone agrees with. Including specific steps to collect, file and address complaints or concerns. Update 5: the aftermath. It's been interesting. The old group has dissolved. Nobody wanted to work with the prey anymore after all that. They held an emergency meeting to try to figure out why most of the board submitted their resignations, and it was a shit show of prey accusing the remaining board members of conspiring against her, which caused the last remaining board members to also resign over time. My new board, Fringe Farm, is thriving. We've taken over collection and distribution in our area and 2 others as we've merged with 2 other small groups to tap more resources. Imagine my shock and surprise when the original offender called my treasurer and asked to be put on the list. Of course we did help her, but we took the secretary's minivan and all 7 went as a group. When we got there it was the former prey husband that answered the door. Our first task was to have an ironclad board policy that states anyone accused of wrongdoing will be spoken to privately by the prey and vice prey. Neither are me. I prefer to work behind the scenes, prior to anything else. I'm hearing rumors that the former board prey, P, isn't doing well. When the shit hit the fan her husband left her for sis-in-law and they've been messed up ever since. I honestly feel bad for her. They have no kids and now it's just her. We are having a meeting next week and I believe we are going to invite P onto our board in a non-authority role. After hearing everything that went down afterwards. She's had to get a job and they're currently trying to sell their house amid divorce proceedings, so I guess the rumor he was getting a little more than drugs from sis-in-law was accurate after all. Rumors say P is in massive debt, thanks to her husband addiction. I don't think she should have to go through it all alone. I also think her situation was causing her an immense amount of stress and that's why everything happened as it did. She knows she messed up. There's no need to rubbing salt in her wounds. Reflection: this has been a very eye-opening experience into how our personal lives can seriously affect our moods and actions, I think. We never really know what someone else is going through, and why they behave the way they do. Part of me wishes I knew so I could have handled it better on my end. Part of me is still raging/hurt at how it all went down. Hurt people hurt people. It's sad but so very true.